Yo, what's poppin', guys? Sizzyl here, and what do you think about when you think of a good video game? Music? Graphics? Story? Single player? Well, Dead by Daylight has none of those. Is that a problem? No. In my opinion, the most important aspect of a game is gameplay. The people behind Dead by Daylight realize this fully. Obviously, the rest of the game is still good enough to look at, but it's very obvious that gameplay had the most time poured into it. Well, if the gameplay is so good, what do you even do in this game, you might be asking? Well, the gameplay is really simple. You're basically either a killer, trying to kill all 4 survivors by putting them on hooks, or you're one of 4 survivors trying to escape the killer by fixing 5 of the 8 generators on whatever map you end up on. The overlying mechanics are also pretty simple. You can vault over things, drop barriers, fix generators, hide in closets, and heal teammates and yourself. And even with such simple mechanics, every one of the simple mechanics has extra mechanics built on top of it. For example, when you drop a barrier, if a killer's close enough, they'll get stunned by it temporarily. And killers can only destroy these barriers once you put them down, and then they're destroyed for the rest of the game. Not only these mechanics have extra things put into them, even things such as walking have extra mechanics, with sprinting having some visual indicators that only the killers can see, making you easier to chase with the trade-off of walking around causing you to move quite a bit slower. On top of this, you have items, including ones such as the flashlight, which can stun killers if you shine in their face, and perks, which can greatly alter the way you play the game, allowing for things such as more evasion, faster teamwork, and even perks specifically built to annoy killers or survivors. Plus, while there are some character-specific perks, once you level those characters up enough, you can teach them to other characters, meaning that every character can use every perk, so you can use the character you personally like to look at. Killers also have their own abilities, such as turning invisible, using zombies to help kill people, or simply running at you with a chainsaw. Almost every killer has a bunch of special interactions with separate items, their own perks, the survivors' perks, and just how they interact with certain parts of the map. And pretty much every mechanic in this game has this extra level of detail applied to them, which makes this game really easy to pick up, but really hard to put down. What other game do you know of where some guy can talk about the intricacies of every mechanic for 16 hours straight, and people not only don't tell him it's too long, but that they did a good job during all 16 hours, while also being an extremely fun game to pick up with literally no experience? I picked up this game last week, and I already have over 40 hours, which is definitely helped by how much more fun this game becomes with friends, and the fact that it has crossplay. The maps are also amazing. It probably took me around 30 hours of playing this game to realize that the maps weren't new every time. There's random generator, box spawns, player and killer spawns, layout of the droppable barriers, and even map elements such as staircases that are randomized in a way that makes it hard for the maps to ever even come close to playing the same. And I know I didn't say the music is good, because it's not, but the audio design, on the other hand, is phenomenal. If you fuck up a generator, throw down a pallet, or mess up healing someone, it'll play a loud, powerful noise associated with that action that emphasizes the impact of what you just did. The best audio design by far is when the killer is approaching you, a heartbeat noise will go from soft to getting louder and louder to help you put you on guard. Also, there's a ton of horror game reps like Freddy Krueger, Jason, Leon from Resident Evil, or even the Demogorgon from Stranger Things. And they even got Dream in this game. It's pretty cool that they convinced all these different companies to add their characters to the game, and it definitely adds a lot of character to this game. The only real issue with this game is the desire to play Survivor over Killer. Especially if you play this game with friends, if you just want to play together and aren't a full squad of 5 with 4 survivors and 1 killer, you can't play Killer at all, which would be a problem if this game's player base wasn't constantly growing at an insane pace. The only other real issue that anyone who plays this game would know is that there's a lot of microtransactions available, locking some playable characters behind it, but there's nothing pay to win behind this paywall, and honestly you can unlock all of it by grinding out the game, as it's pretty generous with its in-game currency, which just gives you more of an incentive to play an already very enticing game. There's also an issue with killers targeting and camping out some survivors, but they thought about this and built some perks specifically to counter getting camped out, letting you bypass that issue if it affects you a lot, which is true for pretty much any other gameplay issue they have. They normally think about it and just make a counter to it. The only other possible issue people have with this game are things called skill checks, which are timed events when you're doing monotonous tasks such as holding left click to fix a generator. But I think skill checks greatly help this game because whenever you're doing something like healing someone in a corner or fixing a generator far away from a killer, it gives you some reason to actually keep looking at the game. Otherwise, there's not really any obvious bugs or big issues, other than literally 2 instances in my whole 40 plus hours of playtime where I had a small lighting bug in one small space on the map, and a weird thing where some random rats that have no gameplay impact just phase through stuff. But those bugs are very minor and realistically have no impact on the game, which is shown by the fact that this game has constantly been growing according to the Steam charts. All in all, this game is a blast to play, especially for $20, and I can easily see myself hitting a few hundred hours of playtime in the near future. 3 out of 5.